Okay, hello. I'm really excited to share about this book. It's written by Haben Girma, who is the first deaf-blind graduate from Harvard Law School, and now she works as a lawyer fighting for disability rights. And I've learned so much from her, from following her on Instagram and reading her book, and I love it so much that I've decided to make a video, which I don't usually do, which is why I'm providing a little introduction because you've never seen my face here, and it's proving to be a little difficult, but I am committed to finishing it. This is what you're gonna see here. I'm playing a little graphic because I've gotten so good at iMovie now. Just kidding, I'm an amateur, but it's okay, and you're gonna still be watching, I hope, because I think it's really important what Haben has to share, and I love it so much. Hey. Wow. Wow, Nathan, what a beautiful song. Thank you. Okay, so I'm about to play some clips of Haben. But before I do, I'm going to leave you with a favorite quote from her book, which I've memorized now. So, sighted or blind, deaf or hearing, each of us holds just the tiniest fraction of the world's wisdom. Admitting we don't know everything will aid us on this trek for knowledge. I love it. Okay, so anyway, here is Haben.
I was born deaf-blind, so growing up, I've experienced many access barriers. Organizations that say, sorry, we can't help people with disabilities. It's really important to know that we have options, we have civil rights. It's important to build up advocacy skills. That's why I decided to become a disability rights lawyer and help make our world more inclusive. There's this idea that blind and deaf-blind individuals live in darkness and their lives are full of fear. That's absolute nonsense. There are alternative ways to access information, and knowledge gained through touch is equal to knowledge gained through sight, sound, or other means. I've gone surfing several times in San Diego. It's a lot of fun to feel the power of the waves and to challenge yourself to balance on a surfboard on a powerful ocean. When I started at Harvard Law School, we used interpreters who used voice transliteration. We used assistive listening devices. We used braille displays and keyboards.
Because I think people see her typing and you using a device with your fingers. Can you explain what that is?
So this is a braille computer, and on the bottom are dots. I'm running my fingers over the dots to feel the letters. It's connected to a wireless keyboard. Cameron is typing visual and audio information. Like if you're smiling, nodding, she's typing to let me know you're smiling and nodding. And then what you're seeing, she's also typing that. This is a way for me to access visual and audio information. Very few people know sign language, but most people, especially millennials, know how to type. So it's a way for me to easily connect and start having conversations with people.
And so obviously you're using a technological innovation here today to help communicate with me. Do you believe that disability is an opportunity for innovation? I've heard you talk about that. I've read about it on your website. But innovation, how?
When you face a challenge, it's an opportunity to come up with a new solution. People with disabilities face challenges because the mainstream society is built with non-disabled people in mind. So if we want to live in this world, we have to come up with solutions to make it work. And in that process, we often come up with solutions that benefit the entire community. This process of disability leading to community-wide innovations is called the curb cut effect.
Something else that you often talk about is this concept of the benefits of choosing inclusion. But do you think that people purposely exclude others?
It's more of out of sight, out of mind. If you have an inaccessible building where wheelchair users can't enter, then you won't have wheelchair users in the room, and the people who work in the space are not going to be thinking about access for wheelchair users. So we need to get people thinking. Access means people who are different from you as well. And all our bodies change as we age. We should have access at every stage in our lives. We're the largest community group. We're the largest minority group. Anyone can be disabled at any time. And if you do become disabled, you should have the right to still participate in your community.
Hearing you say that people with disabilities are the largest minority group, it got me thinking, we're listening to the 2020 Democratic debates. I often hear the candidates talking about minority groups, but it's often attached to race, to people of color. I don't think that I've heard anyone on the 2020 campaign talking about people with disabilities. Why do you think that is?
It's really disappointing that very few politicians talk about disability. We are a significant minority group, so the politicians should be talking more about disability. All of us face the choice to accept unfairness or advocate for justice. As the daughter of refugees, a Black woman, disabled, lots of stories say my life doesn't matter. The dominant story is that people with disabilities are a burden on society. That's the dominant story. I choose to create my own story. I have a disability. And notice I say disability, not differently abled or special needs. I like being direct and honest. I do have challenges. The story doesn't end there. The story starts and continues with all the different ways people with disabilities have for creating alternative solutions. Disability never holds anyone back. Disability is not something that people need to overcome. The barriers that exist are created by society, and it's up to every single one of us to work together to remove those barriers. Technology creates opportunities for people with disabilities to have greater access. A lot of people are building services without thinking about inclusion for people with disabilities. We don't want separate services. We want one mainstream service that everyone can use. Why am I passionate about social justice? Because I want to stay alive. I want access and opportunities that are available to non-disabled people. Disabled Black and brown people are at greater risk of police violence. About a third to half of those killed by the police are disabled people. A lot of individuals in power, police officers, TSA agents, walk into situations assuming one can see, hear, move in certain ways, and that is terrifying and leads to many deaths. Knowing all these injustices exist moved me to advocate for change, to be a social justice advocate. My deaf-blindness is not the thing that made life difficult. It was ableism that made life difficult. Ableism is the belief that disabled people are inferior compared to non-disabled people. It's not true. We're not inferior. But ableism keeps moving throughout our society and saying disabled people don't matter, therefore don't make the service accessible, don't provide medical care, and all kinds of unfair biases. There's a lot of injustice against disabled people. If you can turn that off and pretend it doesn't exist and stop thinking about it, that's a privilege. It's a privilege to not think about disability access issues.
Okay, hello again. I'm gonna end the video with a section from Haben's website under frequently asked questions. There's a question, what advice do you have for journalists writing about disabled people? And she writes, Challenge yourself to create a disability story without using the word inspiration. The overuse of the word, especially for the most trivial things, has dulled its meaning. People sometimes even use the word as a disguise for pity. For example, you inspire me to stop complaining about my problems because I should feel grateful that I don't have yours. Messages that perpetuate us versus them hierarchies contribute to marginalization. Engage audiences by moving beyond the inspiration cliche. And then she also has harmful messages we should avoid, which I recommend pausing to read, and great messages we should send, which I also recommend pausing to read. But this is the end of part 1. Thank you so much for watching. Here are some bloopers of me failing at making videos because it's kind of difficult. Whatever. Okay, bye. I am going to, I don't like being on camera. I'm gonna read today's story. Okay. Lastly, I'm laughing. Okay. Oh my god, where am I looking? Sorry. In choosing to not include, I'm starting again. Okay. But here I go. Okay. Oh god. Okay. Again. I want to start over. Slash. That doesn't make sense. Should I keep going? Yeah. I messed up. Okay. I don't like this. But. And for those. Stop. Not accessible. It's not acceptable. God, you can do it. Okay. I'm gonna read the end of that. And